What are some interesting or fun Christmas traditions you follow? During dessert on Christmas, we all open party crackers, the kind that go pop and have trinkets inside, and everybody wears their paper crown while we eat, and everyone reads their stupid joke aloud. Been doing this for roughly 3 decades now, and I'm still the youngest in the family. It gets even sillier the older everyone gets. My family never had Christmas traditions, but the best one I ever heard of was getting a white tablecloth and have everyone at dinner write their name and a message on it. The next year anyone new gets to do the same. It would be so nice in the following years to read these messages of guests and loved ones, especially those who have passed and know they once used the same tablecloth for their Christmas dinner. I don't think I can't start this tradition now because it would pain me that so many names would be missing. Festivus for the rest of us. Getting drunk at breakfast. We do the pickle present tradition. I host Luda Christmas, which is all about the spirit of taking and excess. Every year I put on the Luda Christmas episode of 30 Rock and the Always Sunny Christmas episode and play trap remixes of popular Christmas songs. This year's editions include High Stakes Dreidel, Gingerbread Menorahs, Luda Christmas is Inclusive, Hot Cocoa Bar, and a turducken. Every Christmas Eve my family sit down and watch a Christmas movie and eat gyros. It started out as just like a coincidence. Gyros is easy to make the night before a big event and good in warm summer weather, so Mum did it 2 years in a row. My brother and I noticed the pattern and as kind of a joke declared that we now had to have it every year. And we have. It's been a good 15 years since then, and every single year we find some way to eat gyros. Even when we were on holiday in New York we tracked down a Greek takeaway place to keep up the tradition. Though it may have been called a gyro, it was a gyros in our hearts. Probably worth noting that at least for us specific Aussies, the 25th is the big day where everyone gathers to have a meal at lunchtime. The 24th is the night before, so it's still special, but people don't tend to do anything much for it. It's always weird seeing people in other countries refer to the 24th as Christmas, like that's the most important day, lol. We do a pickle gift. The pickle is an ornament that's hidden on the tree. Whomever finds it gets the extra gift. It's usually family themed, like a bunch of board games or movies. This year, it's a PS5. We'd buy a Christmas ornament every year. You could choose whatever you wanted. We'd write the year and our first name in Sharpie somewhere inconspicuous. We did this since we were born. Fast forward 20 years when each of us has moved out of the house, we were given all our childhood ornaments. My mother mentioned it started because Hallmark ornaments are so expensive and my parents' first tree had a lot of cheap decorations. I think she wanted us to be able to have something special when we were officially adults and ready to decorate our own trees. That and it was exciting to have a new thing to put on the tree every year. Edit, I think my mom was also influenced by my father's mother. My dad has a silver ornament with his name on it which he hangs every year. His mother made it I think and it's about as old as he is. The airing of grievances. Star Wars. My dad and I always go see the latest film on Christmas, or the 22nd, 27th schedule pending. If there isn't a theatrical release that year we will watch one of the movies at his place together over a roast duck. Also, duck. It's our traditional Christmas dinner. After I got married, I learned that my wife's family bakes a yellow cake with chocolate icing on Christmas Eve and everyone has a piece on Christmas morning. I have come to look forward to my piece of cake. My maternal grandmother was of Polish descent. Every Christmas when that side of the family got together, we would divide a large piece of unleavened bread, similar to a communion wafer, called oplatki, into smaller pieces called opłatki. Every family member gets a piece and goes around to the other members of the family. When you go to a person, you each break off a piece of the other's opłatki and wish them a Merry Christmas to signal the end of Advent. My family writes Christmas songs every year. We re-gift a fruit cake to someone in the family every year. Whoever receives it has to write about their year and their wishes for the coming year before gifting it to another family member for Christmas. It's been going on for quite some time, so we have lots of fruit cake letters stapled together with sweet memories. We always did Chinese food Christmas Eve. I always enjoyed going out and eating a big plate of sweet and sour chicken. My family had always had eggnog when we set up the tree and cinnamon rolls for breakfast on Christmas morning, which my husband and I are continuing for the second year apart from them now. My husband always had chocolate Milano cookies during the Christmas season, so now we have eggnog and chocolate Milanos while we decorate the tree. Back when I was at home, Pops would throw on his Santa hat and beard and I would drive him around to friends and family's houses and they would do shots and BS. My dad's boss does this tradition where the last present, which is usually the biggest, is tied to a string and hidden in the house. That string is then looped around the house in a maze and tied to the stocking. Basically, it becomes a Christmas web. The entire family makes it into a race. This year, the boss has a new son-in-law that's been bragging about how he's gonna win. So the boss plans to hide his present down the road, making the son-in-law run through yards and whatnot. My family plays the cellophane ball game. It started a few years ago with just a bunch of cheap things from the dollar store. Over the years it's evolved to small bottles of alcohol and lottery tickets and higher-priced small gifts. It's so much fun and I love how much my parents get into it. This year we aren't even doing presents, just stockings and the cellophane ball game. We buy each other stuff year-round, so we thought it would just be more fun to put more money and gifts into the ball. I think this year, we are at over $200 worth of stuff. We always put a squirrel ornament in the Christmas tree. My mom is a practical joker. So every year she'd pick a Christmas prank target. One year it was my dad. She and him are not married, but on decent terms, and she likes my stepmom. She tricked him into thinking that she'd gotten him and stepmom an expensive bottle of wine. It was actually a bottle of water with red food dye. She stacked my aunt's trash cans in front of her front door on the night of Christmas Eve so she couldn't get out. She used to spare the kids, but once we turned 18, we became free game too. My family has a weird tradition where we hide random things in the Christmas tree and see how long it takes someone else to find it. The tradition was way more fun when my cousins came over though, because I'm an only child. In my house when we decorate we sit for days making this big ass paper chain and then pin it up all over the ceiling. Then on New Year's we have a bonfire and burn it. It's a cute family tradition we have done all my life. I'm alone. I do nothing with no one. The Christmas Eve Wawa run. For as long as I could remember, we would always go to 2 if not all 3 Christmas Eve church services. Home was not close enough to drive to in between said services. So we hung around in the empty church. Well, we're all cold and tired and need some coffee/hot cocoa to survive the night. So on Christmas Eve, it was traditional to go to Wawa. My dad, 2 brothers and myself sit around the couch and watch Die Hard while enjoying hot chocolate and snacks. A new, personal ornament for each member of the family each year, usually on some bog event or interest. In my house we make a huge amount of tamales on the 24th. We are usually done with everything by 11 so that we can go to midnight mass. We actually then get home at 1ish in the morning and open presents. I love this holiday more than another holiday. When me and my cousins were very young, on Christmas Eve there would be a party at my grandparents' house with the full family. At the end of the evening, we would hear sleigh bells ringing. And then Santa, my grandpa, would show up and hand out presents to all the kids. My grandparents are now too old and my grandpa passed away 2 years ago, so my parents have taken over the Christmas party, and my dad dresses up as Santa for our children. Christmas waffles. Every year, we make like multiple kinds of waffles for breakfast before unwrapping presents. Aside from the usual Hispanic tradition of making tamales, me and my family watch Jingle All the Way sometime before Christmas. It's nothing too magical, but for some reason Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to find a Turbo Man doll always puts me in the Christmas mood. When my brother and I still lived with my parents, every year around Christmas we would build a large Lego city in our basement. Multiple police stations, airport, freight and normal train, fire station and hospital. All that jazz. Looked pretty awesome every time. While setting up we would listen to our German rock Christmas songs and would have good time all around. Fun times.